Good evening, everyone. I thought I'd show you tonight that I'm not working on these sun visors because I forgot to go home and look at where my sun visors are as regards placement and everything else. So I'm going to do that later, do that next week. But what I am doing, you can just see here, is the switch panel surround for my 1300 GT. Now Ford did them in such a way that they thought they was aesthetically pleasing with the wood pack being fitted to the switch panel, but the actual switches were fitted on the inside of here. So in other words, the wood pack went on the outside, and where you've got your switches, you've got like a chrome surround that's faceted. Well, I just wanted to do something a little bit different. I want to do the facets of the switches on the outside. I just think it's going to make it look a little bit better. It's not a massive change, but it's just something a little bit better to how they was produced. For the purists, you'll hate me, but it's what I want to do. So I thought I'd show you what I'm doing. Now, I can just about see the edge there in silver. So what I'm doing, I'm making a surround to go around it. But for me to assemble it, I've had to make it in such a way that I can fit it up. So I've got to make screws to hold this in the back. Now there ain't no real screws out there that I can use that's going to accommodate for how I want it to be. So for me to do what I want to do on the car, there's only one way for me to do it, and that's make them. So I thought I'd just show you the final stages of what I do, because this one I made today. So that's your screw. This is an 18 karat yellow gold thread, but if you look at the base, it's got an inner. And that inner is platinum. And the only reason it's platinum, because I've run out of yellow gold tube. In the jewellery world, we call tubing chenier. So you can see what I've done here. It's a bit crude, but I've just soldered the thread on the inside. You can see the little platinum bit at the back. That's the thread. And that's the thickness of the screw. Just going to show you very quickly and very briefly how I do it. Now I've got to try and keep to a measurement here, and my one, the thickness is 1.3. Move that out of the way. When I made the Rascal, I made every single screw on that car by hand. The bubble is exactly the same. What was that measurement? 1.3. It's called the Experienced Eye. Is that a bit thick in the original one? It looks it to me. It looks like it's about 1.4. So that one, it's 1.2 and a half, 1.3. I'm at 1.4. So I've got 0.1 of a millimetre to go to get this where I want it to be. Right, I would imagine that I'm there as an educated guess. Bang on. I'm not going to do the whole video tonight because when I do the videos that go over like 9 minutes, they can take up to 2 hours to load sometimes. For some reason on Facebook we don't really fully understand why. Sometimes it might be down to internet connection, not really up on all that, if I'm honest with you. But I just know that anything over 10 minutes is a flipping age to load. Right, so now we've got it pretty much where we want it to be. That's the screwdriver that we use. Screwdriver goes in there. Pretty perfecto, Lee. Oh, while I'm here, I just thought I'd show you something actually. You lot might be interested in this, who knows. It's a bangle I've been making. And with this, we make all the mechanisms by hand, all of it. So that there is your snap box that we make. So that goes into there, snaps. And this is how we make them. That's your dog leg for your push piece. The push piece is the bit that's on the top of there. See that little dog leg there? That little dog leg there goes along, comes up, and then you have to solder a button on the top of that, which I'm in the middle of working on. And then the actual push piece itself is that. So that will eventually go onto there. And the idea of this metal is sprung. So when you squeeze that down, you might not do it here because it's a little bit too thick at the moment. But when you squeeze it, you watch. It goes back to where it was in the first place. So that line there, that's where the metal's gone on top of it. I mean, I've only folded it over for the minute, so that hasn't been welded up. But that's enough to give me that tension to go into the snap box, which means it goes into the female in there. And when that gets compressed, you watch as it goes in. So it's squeezing it down. And then it will go back up into the slot in there. And that's how it works. That's how that works. Anyway, a little bit of education there. So that's where I am with the screws. So that's that there. I'm on now 9 minutes. All I've got to do is finish this up, true this up a little bit more on Monday. And I'll show you how this is going to be working, because the back of the trim that I've made is here. So that has got a tube that says there choke side. So you've got, the reason I've done this is so I can assemble it. I've got a screw that's going to come through for the front and pick up that thread in that hole there. And by the time I've done that up, it will pull the whole thing in, hopefully tight. You with me? And if you look closely, that there, you can see the white, the platinum in the middle of that. Sometimes I can only use the metals that I've got available to do what I need to do. Right, as most of you will know, we all know what night it is tonight, don't we? So I'm going to bid you a good evening, because it's curry night. I hope you found this little video a little bit of an education into how a proper piece of jewellery is made with proper handmade fittings and everything else. And a switch panel for a 1300 GT. That's the other side. See? That will go in there. And that, the other screw that the screws that I've just made, I'm digressing here a little bit I know, but the screw I've just made will then come in from the other side up, pulls that in tight, tighten that one down, bob's your uncles, the trim's in. The trim isn't finished, but you can see where I'm going with it, can't you? I'll educate more on this next week. Good weekend, everyone.